All right, so this is going to be a mock marathon run of Rage 100, Rage 80% vanilla. I'll explain what vanilla means in a minute, but this is a very long run, so we will, not a very long run, but long enough, so we're going to get started. I have the timer up here, so I can keep kind of tell you if we're ahead or behind based on my PB. But yeah, we have a 30... It's like a 38-second cutscene that plays before we gain control of Nicholas Rain, the protagonist of this game, our silent protagonist. And the story behind the game, we were kind of locked away in a cryogenic chamber because an asteroid hit Earth and wiped out a bunch of humanity, and we are now being woken up. And we have these little tiny robots called nanotrites rolling around in our bloodstream. So time is going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. We start this run by looking up. And then we look down. And then we load checkpoint. It's not a very exciting start to the run, but it's how it starts. Now, if you have the DLC installed, this works. If you don't have the DLC installed, you just restart that cutscene. But if you have the DLC installed, when you load checkpoint, you end up outside for some reason. It does not work if you do not have the DLC installed. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. So, little cutscene plays here where John Goodman will save us. And when I say John Goodman, I actually do mean John Goodman.
Hey, you! Over here!
That is, in fact, John Goodman, the Academy Award-winning actor John Goodman. All right, so we now have to ride in the vehicle with Mr. Goodman. There is actually a skip for this little cutscene that we're going to be watching right now. It is really hard to do. I've tried learning it. It is extremely difficult. I maybe will get it mastered before the event happens, but not likely. So most likely we'll be watching this cutscene at the event, which is fine because it just means we get to listen to John Goodman. I love the fact that he is Academy Award-winning actor or nominated actor. I don't remember how many Academy Awards he's won, if he's ever won any, but just in this really random small video game that's technically a AAA title, but this game did not get like a huge following or anything like that. So, oh, hold on, we got bandits. Okay, bandits are mean, so we got to be real careful. They're gonna drive by us. Nobody do anything weird. Be cool. Don't do anything weird. Okay, I don't think they saw us. I think we're good. I don't think they saw us. I think we're okay. Yeah, we both got a problem. All right, so now we're going to be rolling into the Hagar settlement where his whole family lives. And story stuff is there's this governmental body called the Authority. They're an authoritarian government. Go figure. And we're trying to overthrow them. We can cut the political discussion out of it if it's a problem at the event. We can spin it to not be so political. Anyways, let's talk about vanilla versus jump fix, which is the other version of the game. It's like the other subcategory. Vanilla means we just run the game as is. We do use a bunch of boot commands to get the game to kind of work properly. There's a bunch of problems if you run the game without boot commands. The least of which being the mouse movement will move in a grid pattern, and we have a boot command that makes it so we can actually move the mouse around like a normal mouse. That's literally what it's like. There's a boot command to change the field of view, because the field of view is by default, I think, 80, 70 or 80. It's very narrow. So we have a boot command to up the field of view to, I think, 110 or 120. So this is not what you would see if you were to boot the game up for the first time. Then we'll talk about jump fix versus vanilla a little bit more in a second, but we're going to actually implement one of the main pieces of speed tech in this game, where we run up to a character, talk to them, run away, and talk to them again. And by doing that, we skip all their dialogue. Now, you do not want to do this in real life. If you run away from somebody while they are talking to you in real life, they get really mad. And they say things like, "Hey, jerk, I was talking to you." But in the game, it's totally okay. You can totally do that. No issues. And that skips a lot of dialogue. And the dialogue in this game Every individual dialogue bit is not super long by itself, but when you skip all of it, it saves about an hour. It's a lot of time saved. So it's very easy to do. You just have to run away from characters while they're talking. Some dialogue can't be skipped. We'll point those out when we get there, but yeah. Now you'll notice that we're moving pretty fast here. We're supposed to take an ATV to get here, but running is faster because we can do what is called strafe hopping. Strafe hopping is a carryover from Quake, because this is built on the same engine as Quake. And so all you have to do is jump and hold the button in the direction opposite that you want to travel. So if I want to travel to the left, I hold the right key. And by doing that, while holding forward and sprinting, you move faster. There's a very technical explanation for it. It's difficult to get into, but we're about to go to a very special room they have in this little hideout. It's kind of like the garage. It's kind of like the kitchen, but they have a very special name for it.
Walk into our house. Take him to the kill room.
It's the kill room. We're going to the kill room. And some of you might be asking, well, what's the kill room? Well, it's like the living room,
You're awake.
but the opposite.
Good. I like my prey to know what's coming.
And this is where they introduce
This
a new mechanic that we haven't seen yet, called defibrillation, where if you die in the middle of combat, the game will give you a second chance. You basically just revive, and where you revive, like in that little meter, determines how much health you have when you come back. So they kind of show you this. This whole section is really just to kind of show you that that mechanic and to kind of introduce you to combat in the game. So I'm going to be stopping and grabbing ammo here. We're supposed to... Dan sent us here to kill all these guys, but killing them is very slow. And truth be told, we only have to kill them in one room in order to make it count. So when we get to here... There we go. So the strat for this part is we throw a nade here. This guy's dead, okay. And then we throw a nade here. Oh, he's still alive. There we go. And that's that counts as killing all of them, even though we skipped almost all of them. Go figure. So now we can head back to Dan. So vanilla versus jump fix. Let's talk about this. The game, when it was released, shipped with two different versions. This game came out in 2011, and around the time of 2011 was when 64-bit operating systems were starting to become a thing. And so the game shipped with a 32-bit and a 64-bit executable. The 32-bit is kind of the standard, like what what the game what you're supposed to play the game on. The 64-bit was custom programmed for modding support. And so one of our goated runners and moderators, Tachyon, who actually holds the world record in vanilla, made a third-party injector called Jump Fix that fixes a line of broken code in the game that corrects an issue called overbounce.
Welcome, stranger. Hey, buddy.
Okay, cool. I got it.
Over the goods.
Somebody gets
What do you need?
the monocle here to use for skips later. I'll point that out when we get there. Now, most of the time you go into a building through the door, but we're going to go through the wall. There we go.
Good work.
That's slower than going through the door, but if we were to do the skip from the beginning, I would have to do that. So I just figured I'd show it off.
Again. Thank you.
Little tiny time loss just to showcase that. So anyways, so the jump fix injector fixes a problem in the game's code that causes overbounce. And overbounce is basically where if you go so fast or you hit the ground at a weird angle, you will partially clip into the ground, and that will reset your velocity back to 0, which is very annoying when you're trying to go fast. And so you'll notice I suddenly will randomly just like stop moving quickly while strafe hopping. In some cases, it's operator error because I'm not as good at this game as some other runners. But in some cases, it is because I have clipped into the floor partially, and so I lose all my speed. The jump fix injector corrects that little line of broken code. And so you might be saying, well, why not run the 64-bit and use the jump fix injector and do that? Oh, this is Nolan North, by the way. The reason why is because, for whatever reason, on my particular system, the 64-bit executable has very, very long load times. How long? About 20 minutes worth over the course of the whole run. So in an hour and 30-something minute run, 20 minutes of loads is a lot. So I figured I would just suffer with the overbounce issue and have far less load times than if I ran the 64-bit. It sucks. I wish I could get the 64-bit to work, because having that overbounce issue fixed, that was a really good entrance into here. Holy cow. Having that overbounce issue fixed is nice, but it's unfortunately not as nice as having shorter load times. So this is the single longest split in the game, because we're doing technically 2 dungeons, or we're doing an entire dungeon outdoors between sections. So it's a lot of fetch mission stuff, and yeah. So this is going to be the first time you see an extendo grab in this game. We're supposed to go up there to pull that lever, and so we can pull it from down here by using the monocular. And we're supposed to go up there in order to grab that zip line. So we're going to grab it from down here. I love that little skip. It's called an extendo grab. And it's just kind of part of the engine of id Tech. We do the same thing in Doom 2016. You can do something kind of similar to that in Eternal, although it's a little kind of weird in Doom Eternal. It's sort of most prominent in Doom 16. But we can do it here too, and we're going to do it a few times for the case of doing skips. So we're going to drop these 2 missions off. And this is where we learn crafting. So we're going to be crafting periodically throughout the game things that we need. And there's going to be a lot of crafting that we need to do at certain points of the run, because there's some things that are going to help us do skips, and there's other things that we're going to craft that are going to help us with combat, because we can really trivialize a lot of the combat in this game by crafting the right things for it. So now we got to go drop this quest back off to Dan, and then we're going to go meet Dan's brother, or one of his brothers. Or maybe his nephew, I actually forget. There's a whole family tree inside this one compound. I'm losing all my stamina here.
Good work.
Nicholas is unfortunately a
Hey, buddy.
he's very small lungs, and so he loses stamina very easily.
Back at the Outrigger settlement. Okay.
So we have to go back to the Outrigger settlement again to get another fetch mission. And then we're going to go back into that same area that we went to, only instead of going to the right, the way we went before, we're going to go to the left and enter a new area. Try and keep my bounce for as long as I can. Oh, there it is. Yep. That's what I mean. Like, sometimes you just randomly lose your jump for no reason.
Think you can handle this? Won't be easy taking on the
All right, so now we have to go get some car parts, because we have to rebuild a car. Yeah, I'm getting some really good entrances to this. Sometimes you'll hit those little poles that stick out of the ground, and it'll take you forever to get actually in here. I'm getting very lucky with that. And so now we have a new ammo type called Fat Boys. And Fat Boys are very, very useful. They do a ton of damage. That guy also got out of the way from me really quickly. That was good. Sometimes they'll stand in the doorway and block you. Now, the garage has a lot of really narrow corridors, and it's very easy to bonk on everything in here. It's kind of one of the more annoying sequences of the game. So they have that part to teach you how to use lock grinders. That's literally only one we have to make for the entire game. Sir, please move. Gentlemen, I'm trying to go fast here. Thank you. Ooh. So many little things you can bounce into. Oh, come on. And you also just see me stop and grab. Whoa! Go through the door. Please move. You also see me like stop and grab like random little things like beer bottles and whatnot. That's to sell later. Everything is in my way right now. Those are the things I'm going to sell later for money when we get to the vendor. The money routing in this level or in this game is pretty tight. It's not super tight, but it's tight enough that if I'm not careful to pick up a lot of things to sell, I might not have enough money to buy some things that I need later. All right, so that's a little mini boss fight done. And we have all the car parts, so now we can leave. That was a very poor sequence, unfortunately. All right, so we need to go back to the Hagar settlement, so we're going to carjack these guys. Now, I'm going to try to not hit a couple of rocks that are in the road. Well, unfortunately, you can just fly off this thing if you hit a rock on the ground in a weird way. I'm going to try to avoid that, although maybe we want to show that off. I'll tell you what, let's show it off because it's funny. If I hit a rock at just the right angle... Oh, nope, I didn't. Ah, it's fine. You just go flying off and there's a little bit of a Wilhelm scream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand in the doorway until he updates the mission and then grab the radio. All right, so Dan's going to give us another mission and another weapon. So Dan's going to give us a sniper rifle. We are never going to use the sniper rifle once. If we could sell it, we would sell it. But you cannot sell weapons, unfortunately. Now we have a buggy that we're going to be using to get around to other areas of the map. Go for a damage boost here. Nice. Little tiny damage boost. Oop. So what we do is we plant some dynamite on the wall to blow that up. Nice little damage boost there. Oh, that was a little too much. All right, we're gonna park. Come on.
Great. Mayor Clayton.
Dan's not triggering his dialogue. There we go.
I knew I could count on.
So we are pretty much done with the Hagar settlement at this point. We're only going to come back here a couple more times for other missions, but we are pretty much done here. At least in any major capacity. We're now going to go to Wellspring, which is going to be the overwhelming bulk of the middle of the run, where we spend a lot of time. And Wellspring is like the one place in the game where I still need to check my notes sometimes to remember where to go, because we're going to go to Wellspring a bunch of times, and every time we go to Wellspring we have to talk to people in a different order every time, and it's very easy to forget, wait, who do I talk to in this spot? So I have to use live split for this. At a live event I would just have notes on the table. Sometimes I don't have to check it, sometimes I can remember, but it's very easy to forget. So we're gonna talk to this guy, run away, talk to him again. I'm gonna try to extendo grab this this weapon up here. There we go. What? That was a little odd. And now we enter Wellspring. So I did that extendo grab just to get that gun's ammo. You pick up the weapon, but we're never going to use it. I just want the ammo so I can sell it later. And we're waiting for some dialogue there anyway, so it sort of makes sense to do that. So first character we're going to talk to is the mayor of Wellspring. Also just grabbed a bobblehead on his desk that we're going to sell for later. Those bobbleheads are worth a lot.
Go see the vendor in town. Good. Glad we
So now we are going to get an outfit. Kind of weird that they wait until this late in the game to give you this. But we talked to this guy. Now the fourth outfit that we just bought, that is actually a DLC specific outfit that gives you the perks of the first three. By the way, this is also Nolan North voicing this guy.
Check out what races are available.
And so now we have to do the first race of the game out of 2. And we have to do this race at some point to unlock the sponsored race later. So we might as well do it now since we're right here anyway. It just kind of makes good sense too. So during this minute and 30-second race, and it's always a minute 30 seconds, we've tried to speed it up. No matter what we do, we cannot figure out any way to get this stupid race to go faster. So it's just, we've resigned ourselves to the fact that it's a minute and 30 seconds every time, no matter what you do. So because it's a minute and 30 seconds, this would be a good time for you to do about a minute of donations if this were in a live event. We'd also be able to put donations in other places as well, but this would be a good first spot to kind of shotgun your way through a bunch of them. Zen, what did I explain backward? How strafe jumping works? Oh. All right, well, I'll fix commentary for an actual run. All right.
I got the best vehicle.
Oh, this is Fred Tatasciore, by the way.
What you looking for?
So we're going to buy some armor restores to bank our money for later, because we're going to be doing some fast traveling, and fast traveling costs $150 every time you do it. So by buying those armor restores now, we can sell them later, and and that saves some money because it costs $150. Unless you don't have $150, then it just costs however much you have. So if you have 0, it costs 0.
Go see Mick across the way after you talk to Mick.
All right, so we're going to talk to Mick. This guy's voiced by Phil Lamar, although you won't actually hear his voice. And now we have to go talk to the mayor. And then we have to head back to the Hagar settlement for one last time before the end of the game. Or going into the end of the game.
Now move out.
Oh, wait. I forgot we only talked to him once here. This is what I mean. You run around all these different segments of NPCs in Wellspring. It's very easy to forget who you have to talk to in what way, in what order. It can get very disorienting. So that little radio that we picked up from DR earlier, that's the fast travel item that we use. So we have a little bit of correspondence going between Dan and the mayor, Mayor Clayton. So we are basically just playing carrier pigeon for the moment. And then we head back to Wellspring.
We've seen some authority patrols not far from here.
All right, so we are going to turn in this quest for the mayor.
Good, you're back. Bandits been digging.
And what's funny about the mayor is everybody has a kind of a radius around them where they'll start to skip their dialogue, so you have to run away far enough away from them in order to skip it. And the mayor's changes from segment to segment.
You made it back.
Darn it. Come on.
You need to get
There we go. If you wait just like half a second, you can get the fast dialogue skips with him, and that saves about a second or two. Maybe a little more than that.
Attention! The Dusty 8 sponsored event is now open. Always a local favorite. Are you looking for a better? Then the Dusty 8 sponsored event is just.
And that's what I mean. I didn't run far enough away from him.
The guy that runs that show. You can find his.
All right, so a lot of what we're going to be doing for a good bit is running to the mayor, running to the sheriff, collecting quests from them, and then we run out and we do those quests, and then we come back and turn both of those quests in, which logically makes sense as to why we would do that. It would be faster than getting one mission, going out and doing it, then going back and getting the other mission. If we can collect multiple missions at once, we're going to do that. And these two missions that we're doing now, we want to do them in this specific order, because if we do the other mission first, we're going to lose out on a bit of money that we would otherwise have from fast traveling. Oh, damage boost, nice. Those little RC cars explode, and that one can give you a little damage boost there. That one spun me out a little bit, but if they don't spin you out, you save about a second doing that. So we are heading over to the Feltrite crater. This is going to be the second opportunity to show off just how weird and wacky the collision is in this game. Where we clipped through the wall earlier, that was the first instance of it. Now we get to show you a different way that the collision is weird and wacky in this game. We're supposed to get a Feltrite sample. Feltrites are basically just like special meteors in the game. And you're supposed to like pull this lever to open this, but if you line up just so, you can grab it through the container for some reason. Collision is really weird in the EdTech engine. It doesn't really work properly in some cases. So yeah, if you played Rage 2, you'll probably recognize the next thing that we're doing. We head back here just to fast travel, but then we immediately exit to the wasteland in order to go this way to get over here. Now, if you're fast enough and you don't get overbounce constantly like I do on the 32-bit EXE, you can actually bunny hop your way over here, and it's a little faster than driving. But overbounce would make this slower for me. So now we are going to do Mutant Bash TV. If you played Rage 2, you might recognize this.
Well, will you look
Ooh,
here?
there we go.
Great! Easiest sponsorship in the wasteland. Excellent. Put
So Mutant Bash TV is literally just
reruns for years.
fighting mutants. It's just a bunch of waves of fighting mutants. This part's a drag in the speedrun. And we also have a little cutscene here that we have to sit through. Yeah, it's going to be just 5 waves of killing enemies. So we're going to have plenty of time for donations during this part. Also, this is the part where I would ask, what is everybody's favorite compound word? Favorite compound word? Because mine is jump scare. We're not losing any time because we have to wait for this door to open. So. We've looked for ways to skip this part, and we cannot. So you have to stand on this little button thing in the middle to start the fight. And this first wave is pretty consistent. That guy jumps down. Next one's going to come out of one of these 2 pipes. He chose the right one. You get these 2 guys coming out of here. That guy comes out of here, and then one more jumps down here. Now, the next wave, they're going to come out of these pipes, but they are totally randomized, so... Totally randomized. You just got to keep your ears open for to know which direction they come from. Now, these shields are going to lower. Now, I'm going to wait a second to shoot these guys because the collision right here is really weird. And if you shoot them right now, they wouldn't hit. You have to wait till they're like out of the thing in order for it to work. It's really bizarre. All right, so we are going to really quickly grab this ammo. Going to reload. The Fat Boys are nice as opposed to like the regular pistol ammo because they will one-shot these guys, which is really, really nice. So we got one to the right, one to the left, one to the right, to the left, to reload. Okay. Ideally, you'd hit you'd have exactly 6 bullets for exactly 6 enemies, but if you are slow, it doesn't quite work that way. And things are gonna hit him. Cool. So now we go into wave 3. And now we are going to play casino. So this part's cool because we can win a lot of money in this spot. It's basically a slot machine, and we just have to line up the stars properly. And as long as we don't get a skull and crossbones, those ones right there, we can win a lot of money here. And that's going to be really, really useful for later on. So we're going to try and win as much money as we can here. We just have to shoot the targets when, and oh no, I got the skull and crossbones. Oh well, I guess we're not going to win any money. Oh well, that sucks. Okay. So we're going to fight these enemies now. It's okay, we'll get the money later. Alright, so we start this here. Now, this is a little Easter egg that a lot of people don't know about. And I didn't even know about it until I started learning the speedrun for it. You see these 3 lights inside these octopus arms. Just wait for it. If you shoot the dope fish, you win a lot of money. So we want to make sure we shoot all 3 times because the route has been set up so that you have enough money from shooting the dope fish 3 times. If you miss one, that's kind of the end of the run. There he is. These guys are consistent, but the timing is always a little weird because you never know exactly which one you're hitting at any given moment. Got this guy. We got this guy. Cool. And that takes us into wave 5. And wave 5 is a big dude. He's scary. So we're just going to continuously shoot him with the shotgun. Ooh, and he's dead. You might also recognize that enemy design is kind of from Doom 3. They sort of used a borrowed enemy design from Doom 3 for that guy. id Software loves their enemies. So we won a bunch of money here from doing that. A little over $1,500, which is nice. We're going to use that for vendoring soon. So now we head back to Mick, back to Wellspring. So we're going to and by doing those 2 missions in that order, grabbing the Feltrite sample, then coming to do MBTV, we only lose out on $150 instead of $300, which is good. So I'm going to drop off the quest for the mayor.
Well, good work. But whatever it is you got there. Old man Kavasi.
Good dialogue skip there.
I'll let Kavasi know. Excuse me.
We talk to Jackie, then talk to Slim.
Care to look through the list of events?
And now we do the sponsored race. So this is the whole reason we did MBTV, was so that we could do this race. And now we actually have to race against guys. And these guys are really tough to beat. And, oh, sorry, did I say really tough to beat? I meant we can immediately destroy all of them. Yeah. But unfortunately, because there are other racers, they can also pick up these booster packs. So I'm going to grab this left side one first. For whatever reason, they will totally ignore the right side one all race long, because they respawn after you destroy them. They will ignore the right side one, but they will always grab the left side one. But if we grab it first, then they can't grab it, and then we have that booster for next time. And this race will still take 1 minute and 30 seconds every time. Again, no matter what we do. I don't know if it's us just huffing a little bit of copium trying to believe that we're saving time here by grabbing these booster packs in this order, but yeah. Since this is another little segment where we're just doing this race, this would be another good spot for some donations. Truly. Truly a copium race. I got a goal split on the last split. Talking to the mayor. All right, so now we are going to go back to the sheriff. And he is going to, we're going to drop off one quest and he's going to give us the next one.
I'm glad you got
Darn it. Come on.
the Northern Watch.
There we go.
Easy. You think good luck. My men can't wait.
The sheriff seems to be the most manipulable for getting the fast dialogue, because after you run away from characters, they'll kind of reset themselves. And then you run up to talk to them again, and then they have to go through the animation again. It's like a very annoying facet of how the game works, but it's understandable why it works that way. But if you set up the sheriff in such a way, you can kind of cheese him so that you can get the dialogue fast. There's other characters you could do it with, but it seems like the sheriff's the easiest one to do it. I think I said the mayor earlier. Sorry, I meant the sheriff. I meant to say the sheriff. So now we are going to go to one of 3 cutscenes with Dr. Anton Kvasir. And these cutscenes are amazing because they're unskippable. Which just means there's plenty of time to read donations during those. So in order to get into Kvasir's compound, we actually have to run a dialogue sequence with him first. So what we do is we'll talk to him here, but then we'll jump back in the car and do the other quest in the meantime while the bridge is raising for us. Okay, a little weird, but we got up here. So this mission is literally we drop the car, talk to him, and run away, and that's the whole mission. Come on. Sometimes the driving in this game can get weird. All right, now we have to take very good care of this car, which is why we're going to drive it over a cliff. Okay, that explosion was the car being completely annihilated. It's fine. It's only going to cost us $150 to fix it. Just $150.
All right, let's see what you have there. Put it on the counter and we'll see what has Clayton all worried.
Now, how many of you like to go out of bounds?
Interesting. Felt right.
How do we possibly get back in bounds? Oh, don't worry. We'll get back in bounds.
Might take some time. But you also look interesting. There's something different about you. Best I take a closer look at you, too.
We just kind of get warped back in bounds, which is why we can go out of bounds there. It doesn't save any time. It's just funny.
Interesting.
So now we have to sit through a lot of dialogue. This split is almost 3 minutes long, so plenty of time for donations right here.
Little secret. And you must be one big little secret. Haven't met one of you for a long time. Since working with the authority up in the city. You don't know how lucky you are that the authority hasn't found you yet. If the authority catches you and you don't...
Hello, Billion. Yes, this is a good bathroom break moment.
Dead. You are part of the old world.
Not for me. I have to trigger the dialogue halfway through this
Of
sequence.
course, there are people who stand up against them. Not many of them. They call themselves the Resistance. Not that I profess to have any special knowledge of them. But they exist in small bands, fighting back. And maybe, just maybe, you could be useful to them. You've survived this long. You must have some survival skills worth using. But you aren't going to last long in a firefight against the authority with that standard defibrillator in your chest. I can give you an...
Battlebox, you need to learn this run so I can have somebody sit on the couch for it if I end up doing it at SGDQ.
A little effort on your part. You see, I don't have the necessary equipment here, but you can find what you need in the Dead City.
So we're going to trigger his last bit of dialogue here. Now we are going to do a little setup.
Is a hospital.
that is going to save
I was proud to work
a couple of frames, not seconds, frames. We're going to save like
I didn't see everything that was done there.
2 or 3 frames doing this.
Now it's surrounded by a tremendous wall
Totally worth it.
filled with living memories
So we clip into the
of
button.
committed there. Going there and getting back. The hospital is in the
And we just have to look down to hit the button. We saved a couple of frames doing that. Just a couple. Not a lot. We fast travel back to Mick, and we have to turn in the one mission for the sheriff. We cannot turn in the mission for the mayor yet because Kvasir has to do his thing, and we need to complete the mission for Kvasir before he'll be ready to give us the thing that we need for
Great work. Now that you've been up north.
before he'll give us the thing to finish the mayor's mission. Come on, sheriff. Thank you.
Can do this. Take these plans, build one.
But in the meantime, we can do the sheriff's next mission since it'll be on the way for us. Now, we have to do a little vendoring here.
Care to browse my selection? I have all the
So we're going to buy the shotgun extender, and we're going to start selling items that we don't need. We're going to sell a lot of ammo. And I actually use a controller for this part partially because it's a little faster to do that as opposed to like navigating the mouse around.
pleasure doing.
All right, and then this is the part where we have to craft a whole bunch of RC bomb cars that we're going to use to do skips later, and pop rockets. Pop rockets are extremely broken. We can insta-kill most things with pop rockets, and some little mini bosses are going to be absolutely trivialized with these things. And the RC bomb cars are we use toy cars that have explosives implanted into them in order to blow ourselves up to get out of bounds. That may not make a lot of sense right now, but you'll understand a little bit more when we get to where we're going. But we're going to craft 25 of these things. And we're going to make 11 pop rockets. Or 11 sets of pop rockets. That'll give us 110, which will be plenty to get us through the first half of the game. We're going to have to do a little bit more vendoring when we get to the second half of the game, or the third, really. And that'll be... we'll talk about that vendoring when we get there. By the way, I killed a PB pace run the other day because I bought the wrong schematic in here. This is a very fragile run that can die anywhere. So we are now going to go to a place called the Shrouded Bunker, and we get to do the first big skip of the run. This skip is called Shrouded Bunker Skip. And the reason why it's called Shrouded Bunker Skip is because, wait for it, it skips the Shrouded Bunker. Bet you didn't see that coming. So what we're going to do is park the car right outside, and we are going to enter the bunker. Now we need to actually open up the wall here. So what we're going to do, there we go, is we're going to drop an RC car. Oh, I'm stuck. Okay, we got a little bit of a traffic jam going. Okay, we blow up the wall to get in here. I'm going to switch to my pop rockets. Grab that ammo while I can. And this is why these are broken. Easy. All right. Now I'm going to line up on this particular little white dot. If I can, there we go. I'm going to save just in case. Because you can fail this. We're going to do an extendo grab. Once we're here, we're going to do a little wiggle to get up to here. I'm going to inch my way forward until I see a little visual cue on the ground. We're going to switch the difficulty to maximum. I'm going to save again just in case. We're going to cook this grenade and then walk over the edge. Now, because we blew ourselves up, we died and we have to defibrillate, which means that we don't die of fall damage and we're underneath the level now. So we're going to get ourselves over here. We're going to switch the difficulty. Whoops. Switch the difficulty. There we go. Back to easy. I'm going to drop... I have no idea how many I dropped. There we go. I'm going to save again. And then we throw those cars on the ground and blow them up and jump, and that gives us a little damage boost to get up, back in bounds. Now, you can die of fall damage here, or you can take no damage at all. It's very weird and random. So, that worked pretty nicely. I'm going to line up right here. Hit this button. Uh-oh. I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, it was like a pixel over to the left or right too far. Okay, so let me try this again. There we go. So now we can just kind of climb this thing without waiting for the platform. And while we're doing that, we're going to reload. Get ourselves squared away with that. Now, getting back over this invisible wall here that we're jumping up is kind of hard, so I'm going to save just in case I fail this. You have to jump. That's what I mean. You can fail this. So I'm going to jump. Nice. There we go. I'm going to jump and like tap forward, and that's going to get me back in bounds. Can you move, sir? And by doing all that, we have skipped the entire Shrouded Bunker. That saves about 3.5 minutes, I think, or something around that. So now that we're back out, we can head to Dead City. Now, Shrouded Bunker, as cool as that trick is, it's actually not terribly difficult. There's points where you could fail it, and if you fail it, certainly it'll cost you a little bit of time. But runs don't usually die in Shrouded Bunker. Runs can die in Dead City. It is a very aptly named area. Dead City has eaten many of my runs. So we're going to show it who's boss today. And what's funny is there's actually only one skip that can totally just kill the run. So right here in the first Dead City segment, this segment is split into 2 load zones. Okay, we're going to grab that ammo just for later. I want to make sure I'm reloaded. Excellent. We've got our nades out. We are going to have a mini-boss fight right now. Now, this mini-boss is tough. You have to throw 2 nades, and then you just have to empty an entire magazine of pop rockets at him. Cool, he's dead. Did I say he was difficult? I think I misled you by saying that. All right, so by killing him, that little platform wall thing lowers, and we can head up into here. That's a hand. Looks pretty ominous. So now we are stuck in this room. We have to wait until these mutants kick down the windows and we can take care of them. You're locked in this room until you kill everything. So gonna wait for him to break. Should break on the next one. Then this one will break. We got this guy. This guy. And then one here. And this door drops. Excellent. All right, here's where the run can die, and has died for me many times. I'm going to drop a save here, and we're going to use this little dirt pile. This skip is actually very annoying. There we go. Getting over that wall can be treacherous, and it has killed runs before. I've lost 30 seconds or more on that in the past. So we gotta wait for a little auto-scroller sequence for this button to become active again. So in the meantime, we're going to just punch these guys. No reason to waste pop rockets on them. They're not worth it. And that takes us into the second Dead City section. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this skip. I prefer this way just because I've tried the other way and it's a little harder for me to do the other way. We're going to crouch, wiggle into this little invisible wall, and we just skipped about a minute and a half of gameplay. Yay. Grab this ammo. Now, these 3 mutants I'm going to kill are trigger enemies. And by killing those 3, this door opens. That guy's just going to get in the way, so I'm going to take him out now. So you have to do a lot of navigation, which is tricky because this part's really dark and it's a little hard to see where you're going. Now, if you like boss fights, I've got good news for you. We're about to do the only boss fight in this entire game. There's one boss fight in the whole game, and it's this. id Software loves their big wall-like boss fights. Now, you can only damage this guy with the rocket launcher, so this is the only time we're ever going to use the rocket launcher. You would think, oh, rocket launcher, that's great. Nah, not really. So this guy's very kind. He'll actually tell us exactly where he's going to hit. Makes it very easy. So we shoot him in the head. And we wait for... We repeat this 2 more times. So this is a good time for some donations. Oh, wait, shoot. I was supposed to shoot here. I totally goofed. I was so focused on the commentary, I forgot what I was doing for a second. There we go. And the boss is dead. I'm gonna grab some ammo just for later, so I can sell it off, but we're not gonna actually use the rocket launcher again in the entire run. Grab that ammo for later as well. And as long as you don't forget to shoot like I did just now in the boss fight, that fight is extremely consistent. It's very tough to lose or gain time on it. All right, so we did all this navigation just to get that little thing right there that we just picked up, the defibrillator upgrade. Just kind of running around, grabbing a few items while we wait for this wall to open up. Now, this is fun. If you press yourself up against the wall and you hold forward, he's going to dent the wall enough that you can see through it. You'll see there's nothing there until the wall breaks, and then he's going to randomly spawn in. And nice, he got right out of the way for me. What a nice guy. He can sometimes block you. And that is Dead City. Now, at this point, we would normally want to fast travel to go back to Wellspring, but we actually need to go watch the second Kvasir cutscene. Please, Nicholas, stop hitting the floor. Now, we're actually going to be able to turn in Kvasir's quest, which means he'll cycle... Anyways, collision's weird in this game. And again, take very good care of the car by driving it over a cliff. We're going to cycle Kvasir's quest, and that's going to let us finally finish the mayor's quest line. And that will be completely done. Now, we can't get out of bounds here. We would not get warped back in. We'd actually be totally soft locked. So we just have to sit here and wait. This cutscene is a little over a minute, so we have about a minute for donations here.
Okay, there you are. Now you have twice the resurrection power, and I do believe that you will need it. Remember, the authority is ruthless. Alone, it is only a matter of time before they get you. Your future will lay ultimately with the Resistance, but that isn't the path we need to take now. All right, I've finished analyzing the Feltrite sample you brought. What the bandits are trying to do, successfully it would seem, He's refined the Feltrite into an explosive accelerator.
We've got a $25 donation from who says, I have a witty comment.
Just bring it to Clayton. He needs to know what he may be facing. Take it to him.
We literally just scroll there. You can't gain or lose time on these cutscenes at this point. I mean, you're talking milliseconds, if anything. Any kind of time gain or loss is just timer error at this point. So we fast travel back to Mick, and now we are going to turn in our final missions for everybody, and we're going to head to the next massive run killer, the Well. Now this is weird. You can actually just talk to these guys once each, and their dialogue will just continue while you run away from them. It's kind of odd.
Now that is another.
So we're going to talk to Carlson. He's going to give us the mission for the well. And now we have to go in and clear out the well of the Muty infestation. Now, this is important. They just gave us that guy at the beginning who is sadly, he dies immediately in that cutscene. He gives us some electric bolts, and that's going to be very, very useful for later on. Now, you're supposed to do some platform navigation here. However, we're going to use these RC cars to do what we did earlier. So close. Okay, I'm going to drop a 5th car. You can sometimes do this with 4, but it's just a little bit easier if you use 5. I'm clearing these guys out of the way because they'll be a problem if you don't. Reload, please. Thank you. We have to clear this segment out. Now, in my splits, this split is called I Think He's Close. And you're going to see why. Oh, wow, I got a first try. Let's go. So normally if you fail that, you hear that one bandit go, I think he's close. Over and over and over and over and over. It can get very, very annoying. We'll take out those 2 guys because they are the trigger enemies. We're going to do a little skip here to get over. Grab the toxin. Stop doing that, sir. And if you stand on that platform's edge, you can actually get squashed and die. It's not fun. That was a really good well. That was actually very, very good. So we turn this quest back into Carlson. And he's going to send us, guess where? Back to Kvasir again.
Incredible you made it back alive. Now about that toxin. I need you. A lot to ask, I know.
Dialogue skipping. Some people's radius is very small. For Carlson, it kind of makes sense that his radius is so small. All right, head back to the Wasteland. We are heading off to Kvasir for one last cutscene. And this is going to kind of break us into the next chunk of the game. I sort of think of this as the beginning of part 3. Even though part 3 seems like it should come later, I sort of just think of it as the start of part 3 because we've now finished the mayor and the sheriff's quest lines, and we're now getting quests from somebody different after we watch this Kvasir cutscene. So yeah, while we are driving to Kvasir and then watching Kvasir's cutscene and then fast traveling back to Wellspring, this is time to shotgun through a whole bunch of donations. Interesting. The car went off to the left. Very odd. Westy, thank you for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. Hello.
Yes, my friend. Time to analyze exactly.
I'm pretty much using the donation time to read chat and respond to anything there. Oh.
Let me look Look at this.
I thought I had triggered this.
Very powerful stuff here. Bandits getting very clever indeed. What's this? Wait.
Metalbox, you're not off. 24 sounds about right. This run can die anywhere. By the way, we are 0.4 seconds ahead of PB right now. And that's including me doing the paperclip in the beginning that I didn't need to do. Thought it was spectacular. I think it's okay. I don't think it's anything super special.
Oh, now look at this. That's something.
It definitely has its positive qualities, but I thought the game was very...
Interest and great
I like to say the high side of average
working day and
is kind of what I use to describe it.
for the resistance.
Off the grocery, see when you get back.
That would make even the authority grow cautious. I have had some small success, injecting simple chains of nanotrites directly into a subject, allowing them to be controlled. But it only works for a brief time. And I am afraid the controlled victim eventually reaches nanotrite overload and simply explodes. Messy, short-lived, but still within its limitations, quite powerful. But now, this toxin you have so thoughtfully brought for my inspection is exactly what I need to complete the formula. You just give me a moment here. Ah, yes, that is it. Perfect. Really perfect.
As opposed to kinda perfect.
You can take it back. This is an important day for the resistance, my friend. So here it is.
So we're going to clip back into the button.
Enough for the resistance
We have a smaller window of time to do this. If I can get in here, there we go.
able to easily replicate the formula to produce more. And now, here is where you come in. Find my friend, there is good. You take
And again, we saved 2 or 3 frames doing that. All right, so now we are going to meet Elizabeth Cadence. She is going to be the next person that gives us all of our quests.
Follow me.
Would you believe it if we're not supposed to stand here? We're going to open the door now just to have it open for when we are ready to leave.
The bar isn't safe. You probably Captain Marshall. So that's what I need for good.
All right. So now, chat. Who likes prison? Any prison enjoyers in chat? Because we're going to prison. Not as an inmate, but as a breaker someone outer. I always forget about this stupid CB radio and how obnoxious it is. Oh, God. I always forget how obnoxious this radio is that she talks through. So yeah, the whole thing is Captain Marshall has been leading the resistance, who's fighting the Authority. And the Authority captured him and locked him up in prison, and we are going to break him out so that he can continue his duties as the leader of the resistance. We're going to try and go for a little shortcut here again, driving up this cliff. Ooh, that was a good one. A little wonky landing, but we got it. This guy, well, that might cost a little more than $150 to fix. All right, so this is the Authority prison. Now, do not stand right up against the door. It will kill you. Ask me how I know that. I know. Now, the prison is a major run killer. The only reason why I've had more runs die in the well than the prison is because the well comes first before the prison. But this place has killed so many runs. And I'll point out every spot where it can happen. Because it can happen in a lot of places. You're supposed to do this from somewhere else, but if you line up right here and you angle that right, you can hit that that battery from this side. I'm going to, if I can hit that one. Gonna kill that guy so we don't have to deal with him later. We'll skip there. Okay, I'm gonna grab these items to sell later. Is it 3 cars? I think it's 3 cars here. Yeah, it's 3. I can never remember if it's 2 or 3. And that saves a little bit of time there. By the way, there's a card in here that you can grab without actually opening it up because collision. All right, we're going to do a little optimization here. We're going to push the button. And now if we jump over here before the laser goes up, darn it, let me try it again.
I have a plan to get us out of here.
I want to get this, come on. You can make it, but overbounce is a problem, and so I keep getting stuck on the floor. There we go. You make it through here before the laser goes up, and you can kill these guys early. Nice little time save. There should be one more coming over in a second. Come on, where are you? Now, the biggest enemy in this level is not the authority soldiers, it's Marshall. Marshall can get stuck on every stupid little corner, so you have to babysit this guy, or he will absolutely screw you up. Where's this guy? Oop, I was gonna loot him, but I don't think I can anymore. Where's this guy? There he is. All right, I'm gonna save here. And jump over that laser. That saves having to do it the intended way, which I'm gonna be completely honest, I actually don't remember what the intended way is to do that. So I'm just gonna kind of like run around and loot a bunch of these guys to get their ammo for selling it later. Oh. Huh. I did not even notice they were there. Marshall took a bit of a beating. Alright, so we gotta take out these guys. And they always come out of the ship in the same order. Cool. Gonna get close to Marshall to trigger his, to trigger this little bit where he blows up the door. I'm going to do a bunch of quick saving to make sure. Actually. Ah, darn it. Okay, I'm just gonna use 3. You can do this with 2, but I'm having a little bit of trouble. Actually, I have trouble doing it with 3, actually. Why? I'm not sure what's going on. There we go. Weird. Save one more time. Well, by going out of bounds this way, we can get out of here as soon as the mission cycles. We just have to wait for it. And we skipped having to... That saves about 16 seconds, by the way. As opposed to, like, waiting for the door to open and waiting for an enemy, like, getting past an enemy and all that. That's a little chunky time save, which is nice. So now we're going to... Now Marshall's back. He and Elizabeth are kind of both giving us quest lines now.
I'm glad you made it back.
So we're going to, again... talk to him and run away to cycle his dialogue.
And in this world...
And by the way, that is Steve Bloom voicing Marshall. I'm sure some of you probably noticed already.
Do you understand how important this excellent?
Now, this mission's nice because this one's going to take us right back to the very beginning of the game where we exited that arc chamber from before. We're going to hit the wasteland. And we're going to do one last fast travel to the Hagar settlement. We're not actually going to do anything in the Hagar settlement. It's just faster to fast travel there and then drive the rest of the way, as opposed to driving all the way there from where we are. We're going to jump in the car. Whoop. There we go.
The authority is up to something.
Forgot about the radio again.
Don't waste any time getting that data.
So a little time save here is we jump on this. We're going to jump onto this fence, drop down. That saves a little bit of time. So all we have to do is come back here to get an ID drive that is in the little chamber that we started the game from. So we just interact with the panel and then we can head right back to Wellspring. Nice and easy. Now, the next mission is fun because it's another area that we've already been to before, but you're going to get to see it again differently this time. So there's a
Excellent work.
bunch of dialogue we have to skip there. This is actually a really long chunk of dialogue we have to skip. I read overbounce in chat and threw me off. It's because the 32-bit can't run an injector.
Yes, we
Unfortunately.
We need that.
Not a dumb question.
and if for nothing else.
It's not a dumb question at all. It's a very legitimate question.
So, my friend.
I don't think that dialogue triggered.
We
Alright, so this one's going to give us the mission.
data, and you'll have done it. Remember, the authority knows you're around.
Going to grab that ammo. And that's something that you kind of notice is that I'm stopping to grab ammo wherever it's like convenient. We're just kind of grabbing things along the way so that we can sell it for later, because we're going to need to buy a lot of stuff when we get to Subway Town. Now, if you remember Dead City, I've got good news for you. We're going back there again, but this time we're going to play it backward. Yes, Dead City in reverse. So we started in Dead City Streets and exited Dead City Central. We're now going to start Dead City Central and we're going to exit Dead City Streets. And the level is mostly the same, except there's a couple of spots where it's been slightly changed. And since we're not going to be worrying about fast traveling out of here, or about driving out of here, we're going to be fast traveling, we can just kind of park the car wherever and head inside. So you remember the first time we came in here, we went to the left. Well, now we're going straight forward. And grabbing all this stuff just to make sure that I have enough cash for when we get to Subway Town. It is so easy to get lost here. So the whole thing with Dead City is that in this iteration is that it's now been taken over by authority soldiers. Now, this door has a very weird hurt box that lasts longer than the animation plays through, so I kind of sit and wait for... you have to sit and wait for it, otherwise you're going to get hit and it's going to lose your time. So this guy's a sniper, by the way. We now have to deal with snipers, although they are terrible shots on easy, so it's not a big deal. Please move, sir. Now I'm going to grab this bit of ammo here. Guys, can we move, please? Thank you. I'm going to avoid fall damage for a second because I was taking a lot of damage in there. Now, that bit of ammo that we just picked up gives us pulse shots. These are nice because these can take out those batteries in one shot as opposed to 2 shots like we were doing with the pop rockets. And that saves just a second or 2 for each cell. So what we do is we come over here. We're going to aim to that spot to lower the lasers. Got stuck in the doorway. And that is the first part of Dead City 2. Dead City 1 is a run killer. Dead City 2 is not really a run killer. Dead City 2 is pretty consistent. There's not really a lot of stuff that can go wrong in Dead City 2, luckily. It's more just like a slog of having to re-navigate through all this stuff and hitting all these little bumps in the floor. There we go. Very easy to hit the grate there and not hit the battery instead. All right, now this guy's going to try and use the sniper rifle at close range on us because that's apparently how sniper rifles work here. And he's going to continue trying to aim, but he can't. We're too fast for him. Please let me go. There we go. And now we fast travel back to Wellspring for the last time. And now we're going to go into a different town. We've got like a new hub. So we started with the Hagar settlement as our first hub. Then Wellspring became the second hub. Now we're going to the third and last hub, which is Subway Town. So this is an interesting thing. We're going to start talking to Marshall. We're going to run away to skip the first half of his dialogue, but the second half is unskippable. I have no idea why they did it that way. It's so weird, but yeah. Now we're waiting for him to say Scrambler, and then we can run away again to skip the next part of his dialogue.
This place just isn't safe for you. We've deployed a communications scrambler, which should help mask our exit.
We run up the stairs, and
So, you ready?
we're good to head to Subway Town. Now we have to ride with Marshall in a cutscene that is 1 minute 22.65 seconds every single time. It is always that speed. So this is the time when you get to read 1 minute and 22.65 seconds worth of donations. Hello, YRK.
I'm glad you decided to join us. We're probably just days away from the authority finding you. But you've heard the expression, out of the frying pan.
Intended ways are going down there. Really? I don't think I even went down there in a casual playthrough. I think I just shot it through the grate and got it. We're 26 seconds ahead of PB. Just by the way.
I've been doing it ever since my arc emerged. I saw what they were doing.
Also, some of best has come down by 1 second since we started this run.
For once, our government had a good plan and good people in place to make it happen. But General Cross changed the timing of only a few arcs. Arcs filled with his people. And that changed the course of humankind. Now, it's our job to make sure it.
Yeah, I sort of cured myself of the burnout from the first time I was running it. I ran it a bunch, burned out, was like, all right, I'm coming back to this later. and then started running it again, and here we are.
What's left of it. Our base sits right below it.
Oh, look at that. 1 minute, 22.65 seconds.
Come this way.
Every time. Now, we're supposed to be behind Marshall right here, but you can jump past him. Now, here's an interesting thing. We're supposed to be behind him right now. Because we're in front of him, we can do something kind of funny. He's going to walk up and get right in this door. But if we crouch, hold forward and left,
Lassard, Marshall here.
we can stand here. We're not supposed to stand here, but we can stand here while he does this little bit. This saves no time. It's just really funny. And now he's going to push us right out. Just like that. Give me a piggyback ride, Marshall.
It's a bit of a mess.
Give me a piggyback ride.
All right, people.
So he's going to do a little dance here before we can talk to him again.
Okay. Think you'll be able to play his game? Good. Remember.
Now, as long as I didn't get too close to Lassard there, which I don't think I did, but as long as I didn't get too close to Lassard, we're going to get a couple of items later that are really useful. If you go too close to Lassard, that item won't spawn in. It's very weird. Got to talk to this guy real quick just to get past him.
Welcome to Subway
Oh,
Town.
run away. There we go. All right, now here's where we do the second bit of vendoring. I'm going to run in here, grab this bobblehead, because we got to start this guy's dialogue to cycle through stuff. And we're going to talk to Janny, run away to get past her dialogue. Now, everybody in my Twitch chat seems to really like Janny for some reason. Not sure why. It's one of those things, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to sell a few items here to...
Got it. And if I bought it, I don't need it. So what you looking for?
make some cash. All right, we are buying the turret schematic. Oop. This is 24. And the rest is buckshots.
Pleasure doing.
Cool. And now we get to craft a whole bunch of things. So we got to craft 6 turrets. Going to craft 11 RC cars. We're probably not going to need all of these, but we're going to get them just in case. And the remainder is going to be pop rockets. And because it grabs so many extra things throughout the run, we're able to buy a lot of explosive packs. Explosive packs are really expensive. But yeah, during these crafting sequences, you could probably get a donation or two in while we're just sitting here waiting. All right, so we are sadly not going to see Janie again. I know some people are very disappointed by that. Can you talk to Redstone, please? Thank you.
So go help him out. Good.
So now we got a couple quests that we have to do for Redstone. Redstone, by the way, is voiced by the same guy that voiced the... what was the guy's name? He was a character in Skyrim. He was like the Stormcloak second in command guy. I cannot remember his name at the moment. Anyways, so now we head out into the Eastern Wasteland. We're going to venture very far out to right here. First mission's right underneath the subway town, so we're just going to head right over here. This is Blue Line Station. Blue Line Station has some huge skips that can also kill the run. A lot of run killers in this game. But Blue Line Station also has some pretty cool... These are pretty cool looking skips when they're done well. So I'm going to equip the sentry turrets because I'm going to drop a couple here. The reason why we make these turrets is these guys are going to clear out a lot of these enemies for us while we are stuck up here, because we're going to be stuck up here for a minute. Just kind of grabbing random little bits and bobs here and there. I've got so many pop rockets, I'm never going to go through all of these. So I'm not too terribly worried about running out of ammo. Take out this guy, and that's going to start this sequence. Now, the turrets are going to do most of the work for us, but there's a few enemies that we can take care of early that the turrets can't. It's going to be a guy that pops up right here. We're going to get another guy right here. Then we're going to get another one pops up right over here somewhere. I always forget the exact spot where he appears. Yeah, it's right there. Oop, there we go. And that should spawn a guy here who will open the gate for us. Thank you. And you have to kill a certain number of muties in order to open this door. And there it is. Please move. I'm going to take him out just because he's going to cause problems later if I don't. I'm going to drop a quick save in case I don't make this jump. And we made it. Nice. So we're now out of bounds. We're not supposed to be here. And this is where the skip is really tricky. There we go. Have to get up here. I'm gonna save. This part's really finicky. It's really easy to get like stuck on random collision on the floor. But that was actually pretty fast. We got through that much faster than I normally do. Faster than not my fastest ever, but faster than average, that's for sure. Now there's a few ways you could do this area. I like this version because it's the easiest. It's a little bit slower, but not by much. We're gonna do the same thing that we did back at Shrouded Bunker. We're gonna cook a grenade, wait till it's about halfway cooked, and then jump. And this is going to negate the fall damage by blowing us up first. And we change the difficulty back to easy. I'm stuck. There we go. Going to get up here. I'm going to quick save again because this is a part where fall damage can be a thing. Okay, very good. All right. I'm going to quick save here too because this is another spot where, I mean, you have to quick save everywhere for this. Cool. We just skipped the entire Blue Line station this way. And the whole reason we had to navigate through the Blue Line station is to place these bits of dynamite here. Now we're going to drop a couple more turrets. Okay, we're going to detonate the dynamite, and now we got a big fight until the next set of doors open. Now we've got muties, should be popping out of the walls here. There we go. Should be one right here, another one up here. Where are you? There you are. And then, oh, and that was all of them. Come on. And that is the Blue Line station.
Hear you. On the way.
All right, we got 2 more missions for Redstone that we have to do. We have to turn in this one for the foreman. Just tell him like, hey, we cleared out the Blue Line station. You can now go in there and work again.
Not bad.
So that mission's been turned in. We now head back to Redstone.
Just the thing. Okay. So I'm gonna need you to bust into that. Here's what you do.
So now, for the next mission, we're gonna head even farther out into the wasteland by actually not leaving the vault at all. We're gonna just head right over here. We will venture into the wasteland soon, I promise. But we have to do the Gearhead Vault first. Now, in my splits, this split is is a Russian profanity. And the reason why is because these guys are going to yell it a lot, and it's really funny. So I'm going to set it up right here. Now, if you cross the trigger line, you have to do a fight. But by dropping some cars here and getting up on this ledge, we skip that. Now, if another fight spawns in here, so what we're going to do is drop 3 more cars. And do another boost to get through here. Otherwise, we'd have to do a whole lot of fighting with people, and we don't want to do that because that's slow. Now, we have to do another fight in here if we didn't do this. We're going to drop a quick save and... darn it. Let's try it one more time. This skip is finicky. There we go. Okay, I need you to move, sir. And the reason why we came into the Gearhead Vault is to get this item right here. A lot of fetch quests in this game. So this door lowers, like, by design. But then this guy Kool-Aid Man's his way through the wall. Can you move, sir? Sir? Guys. Refuse to get out of the way. And because we skipped some of the sequences earlier, the fire's still not up, so we don't even have to do anything else in this spot. We can just leave from this point. And those skips total save probably about 2 minutes, I think, as opposed to doing all the crummy navigation that we don't want to do. So now we got one more mission to get from Redstone. And the whole thing here is somebody betrayed him. There was some sort of backstabbing going on. Something like that. I don't know. Don't pay too much attention to the story in this game. It's not very good. All right, and now we actually go into the wasteland. You'll actually get to see what the Eastern Wasteland looks like. A lot more blue than the last one. You'll notice. While we're heading over to the power plant, which is where the next donation happens, where the next quest happens, you could probably get a donation or two in at this point. So we shoot an electric bolt here, we shoot one here, and that lowers these electrical fences, basically. That allows us to navigate through these hallways. Now we're going to do a really big skip right here. What we're going to do, drop 3 cars, drop save. Cool. That saves about 5 minutes. That's about a 5-minute skip right there. Because it skips not only some gameplay stuff, but it skips a really long cutscene. So really big time save in that spot. I like how he punched his buddy. We're going to drop our last 2 turrets here. And then this is the guy that we would have seen in that cutscene were we to watch that cutscene, which we did not. Right, this door is going to open. Little tiny optimization. We kill this guy first before this guy can kill him, and that saves a very tiny amount of time. This guy's audio is also really weird because it sounds like it's coming through a radio. You do a little jump here. Oops. Let me try that again. Which skips having to do that little climb. Now, there's actually an out of bounds that you can do here. and it is exactly as fast as doing it inbounds. It is actually hilarious how it doesn't actually save time. It's cool looking, but it's also very difficult to do and saves no time. So we just do this inbounds because inbounds is much easier. I think one more guy needs to die. There we go.
There. Go see Redstone. I'm sure he'll be glad to hear the news.
And now we fast travel back to Subway Town. Oh no, but the Authority has captured Redstone, so now we don't talk to him anymore. Oh no, that sucks. We just go straight back to Marshall at this point. Yeah, that out of bounds is cool, but it's unfortunately difficult and it saves no time, which is terrible. So we actually don't even need to go talk to anybody. We could just go straight to Marshall. Now this is Lassard. If I can get the fast dialogue for Lassard. Nice, we got fast Lassard. If you don't get fast Lassard, he spins his chair back around every time you skip his dialogue, and it takes a while for him to turn back around again and look at you. So getting fast Lassard is nice. Saves a few seconds. And now we are going to head into a place called the Jackal Canyon. And Jackal Canyon is, wait for it, a run killer. Luckily, we actually just recently, as of a few days ago from when this is being recorded, found a skip that, or found a setup for a skip that we had before, but was entirely RNG. Now we have a way to actually do this skip that is completely, completely viable. Like, it's not dependent on RNG anymore. It's difficult, and I'm probably going to screw it up a few times, but I'm absolutely going for it because it's cool. We're going to abuse the dying before the fall damage kills you thing that we've done a few times now. That guy's asleep at the wheel. You're supposed to go pull a lever to get over this fence, so we're going to just jump over it instead because that's much better. Completely doable is a good word for it. Yeah. You can actually do it in runs as opposed to before where... oh, yeah, nice. If you go fast enough, you can... one of the barrels won't fall, which is funny. All right, you're supposed to ride 2 zip lines here. So... we're going to ride one of them instead. I love that skip. That's such a cool skip. It saves very little time, but it's just really cool looking. These guys are in my way. And don't worry, we haven't gotten to the coolest skip in the run. The coolest skip in the run is the very last skip. You're going to like that one, trust me. So you're going to ride this gate down. I'm going to try and get on top of the gate. Darn it. If you get on top of the gate, you can get out of here before it opens. Saves a second or two. It's not a huge deal if you miss it. But the gate's collision is weird, like everything else in this game. Now, the Jackal Canyon... I should point out that the development team ran out of money near the end of development, so Jackal Canyon's only about 2/3 completed. This level's not quite finished. You're gonna see why in a second. We're gonna climb up this ladder. We're gonna jump. I'm going to save. Nice, we got it first try. So we blow up the barrel before we land, and we just skipped having to navigate down a whole bunch of platforms. And also, none of the enemies that are normally here spawn in. Well, that guy does, but can I please get up these stairs? But yeah, when I first got that trick for like the first time in a run, I set an 8-second gold split over my previous gold. And my previous gold was really good, and that one was not fantastic. So I would say that skip probably saves about 10 seconds, or maybe even more than that, depending on how well you do it. Now, if you get out of the buggy on the left side, you will fall out of bounds. So we get out on the right side, and I'm being very careful about how I navigate through that bridge section because you can fall out of bounds very easily there. This level's incomplete, unfortunately. All right, we're gonna fast travel back to Subway Town. And like a little tiny optimization that I do for this is I hit escape, enter left all at once, and that triggers this platform early, or rather quickly. And that way we just save just like a little bit of time. It's just like a little optimization. It's not really so much a time save as much as it's an optimization. All right, I'm gonna talk to Lassard. We're going to run into this doorway to cycle through all the dialogue here. Talk to Portman. This guy is voiced by Phil Lamar, by the way. And that item I just picked up that was on the table, that was the item from earlier that would not spawn in if I got too close to Lassard early on when I got here. If you get too close to Lassard, that item doesn't spawn in. Don't know why, but that's how it is. So we've only got 2 sections left of the game before it's over. We've got this next part that we're going to do, and then the final section. And then we're done. All right. So now you're supposed to go through a canyon and do a whole bunch of nonsense. But this is faster. I'm going to get on the car, save. Not do that. There we go. And that skips having to do the canyon run, as I call it. We just have to wait for these things to blow up. And we turn in our last quest and we get our very last quest. And then we head to the last section of the game. Oop. If you hit escape too quickly, which is what I did, that happens, which is unfortunate. All right, Portman's dialogue is unskippable here for whatever annoying reason. We're going to talk to Marshall and skip the first part of his dialogue just to speed this up a little bit. But we have to wait to get the item that's in here.
I liberated it from a dead guard.
It was a cool gun. We might use that later. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. All right. Talk to Marshall.
You've done a great job, soldier.
Stand in the doorway. Do we skip some dialogue after this? We're going to wait for his shoulder to do a weird thing. You'll see it right here.
Right in. Uploading them to you now, sir.
And that gives us the mission. And we are off to Capital Prime, the very last section of the game. This is where the final boss fight happens. I'm using big air quotes here. So while we are heading over to Capital Prime, we got time for probably 2 or 3 donations. Oh, shoot. Probably more like 4 or 5 donations. This is a longish ride. Depends on how long. If it's longer donations, probably only a couple. But if you got short donations, you could probably shotgun through a bunch of them. What? That's fine. We'll run the rest of the way there. So navigating through these tight corridors and my favorite thing about this is the fact that like this one guy is entering an entire authority headquarters and just flatlines everybody. Is the best. Now, if you're fast enough, these guys just randomly appear, which is really funny to me. Now we're gonna go for a skip here called Vega Skip. Point out why it's called Vega Skip in a minute. Let me kill these guys first. 1, 2, 3. We save here. Now, this is called Vega Skip because of Doom 2016. If you played Doom 2016, you know Vega. That's why we call this Vega Skip. All right, we got to kill 10 mutants. 1. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There is a skip for this part. It's really inconsistent and extremely tough, so I don't do it. And it doesn't save a lot of time. It saves a few seconds at most, so I don't bother doing it. Now, I told you a little bit earlier that there was a really cool skip. We're about to do it. You are in for a treat. We gotta ride this up. This is easily my favorite skip in the game. Gotta kill these two guys. We're gonna switch to the pistol to line up here. I'm gonna save. Oh, I missed it. I think I set up in the wrong spot. Darn it. Let me try one more time. Uh-oh. Let me reset up. I might be setting up in the wrong spot. There we go. That is my favorite skip in the game. There's a slight optimization for it, but I haven't practiced it yet, so... Alright, now a little tiny time save here. You can actually jump over this laser early, so I guess that's technically the last skip in the game, but that's not nearly as much of a time save. The other one saves about a minute. So I'm just going to play dodgeball with this guy a little bit. And now we have to craft 2 authority augmenters. And these should be in slot 4. Excellent. So you gotta push 3 buttons, and then we have a gauntlet fight. And this is the final boss fight. Like I said, they ran out of budget at the end of development, so the last part of the game is not finished, unfortunately. All right, so now we've got to fight a bunch of mutants. So what we did with that augmenter is a quad damage buff. So that quad damage plus this, we can flatline these guys pretty quickly. All right, I'm going to quick save here because this next part can soft lock sometimes. If you kill these guys too quickly, you can actually soft lock the run. Or soft lock the game, rather. And time is coming up as soon as this fight is over with. Oh. That should be the last guy. Oh, that should be the last guy. And time. And that is Rage 1 any percent vanilla. This little cutscene plays out, and the way the live split timer works is it removes the time of this cutscene after it's over with. It's a very oddly coded live split timer, but yeah, that is Rage any percent. I hope you consider it for your marathon. Think of that feeling the guy is not a... I never seen that before. There's a clip of it in my Be Right Back montage of that happening the first time and me being very confused by it. Going, sir? Are you okay? Do we see live split on the screen? I don't have live split on the screen for these little recording sessions, but I do want to show you all something. This is a PB. Oh man, dude. It was so close to a sub 135. It was a second and a half off of 134XX. Thank you, Zen. Is this submittable though? Like, I didn't have live split on the screen. Well, then again, Takyon's PB is like edited, so like he has like a cut and pasted video, so I guess it should be okay for me to submit this. 15-second PB. No. Not 15-second PB. 1 minute and 15 seconds, or 1 minute and 14 seconds. You literally just verified the run. True. But this could have been me playing back a video. You don't know. I could have recorded this ahead of time and just played the video. I can't believe this was a PB by 1.25 minutes, dude. That's crazy. El Chapo. Thank you, Joker. Welcome back, by the way. Good to see you again. I saw you were in chat. I didn't want to I was trying to minimize how much I talked to chat because I wanted to focus on this and demonstrate what the run would look like, at a marathon. All right. Let me...
Hi, me from the future.
Hi, you from the past.
Fatality.
And that was Westy rating us. Yeah, that was hard to say. So you never knew. Oh no, you're fine. That's why we had the command for anybody that showed up and didn't know. Show the tracker. Yeah, the time next to underneath the split name, that is the run delta. So that is how far ahead or behind I am against my previous PB on each split. The one immediately to the left of the timer over there, that's the segment delta. So that's just that particular split. So that split was 6 seconds faster than my previous PB, but the whole run overall was 1 minute and 14 faster than my previous PB. So 12:18 in the UK, so you're cooked. You're cooked? Oh man, somebody baked Joker. Oh. Yeah. Oh, Zen, you're totally right. If I didn't do the paperclip at the beginning, that would have been a sub 135. Damn it. I did the fucking paperclip. How embarrassing is this that this is a PB and I did that fucking paperclip just to show it off? Damn it. You wish you were baked? What? You're not a baked good. Anyways. Yeah, this was a PB. I spent the last how many days trying to get a PB endlessly and just not being able to get one. And then I go to just do a mock run for a marathon. Fucking knocked 1.25 minutes off the whole thing. Amazing. All right, let's take a look at this here. Where were my golds? Where's my big time save? This is a big time save. I saved a big chunk in Gearhead Vault. Power Plant was the big one. Power Plant, I got a really fast boost up onto the like the big skip. I think in my PB I dallied and was having a hard time setting it up. So I think that's where the big time save was. Somehow saved 2.5 seconds at Marshall and Lassard. Oh, Fast Lassard. That's why. It's a Fast Lassard. Hello, Lady Argentum. It's all the power of the radio voice. It helps. Jackal Canyon saved 18 seconds, likely because of the new skip. Damn, we were a minute and 20 ahead. I lost 12 seconds until we got to Liberty Prime. No golds late game, but we golded a couple times. Yeah, we got a gold. Talking to Marshall. That's a big gold. Well, a big delta. Yeah, talking to Marshall before he gave us the ID drive quest was a gold split for some reason. We gold splitted talking to... Wow, we gold splitted both the fast travel to Mick for some reason after leaving Kvasir and talking to Elizabeth. Very odd. Fucking the well is where I brought it back from being behind. I was behind going into the well. And then And that wasn't even a good well. I screwed up the RC car skip at the beginning like a few times. Lost a bunch of time at Shrouded Bunker because of dumb shit. We golded talking to the mayor, Jackie, and Slim before going into the sponsored race. Probably just because of Fast Sheriff. Or Fast Mayor, I mean. Fast Sheriff. Yeah. That only knocked a second off of Sum of Best, though, between those two golds. You are a fatty and flaky and crumble at the slightest tough. You are a pastry. It's an interesting analogy there.